Welcome back to another spine-tingling episode of our haunted storytelling series, where we journey into the shadowy corners of Oregon's rugged coastline. In this seventh installment of Most Haunted Lighthouses in Oregon, we delve deeper into the eerie tales of isolation, tragedy, and spectral encounters that have earned these maritime beacons their chilling reputations. These lighthouses, standing tall against the wrath of the Pacific Ocean, are more than just navigational aids. They are silent witnesses to centuries of human struggle, loss, and unrelenting despair. Perched on jagged cliffs and remote islands, Oregon's lighthouses were once lifelines for sailors braving treacherous waters. Yet beneath their stoic exteriors lies a darker narrative, one marked by shipwrecks, suicides, murders, and ghostly apparitions. Each creaking beam, flickering light, and whispered name tells a story of lives lived and lost, forever etched into the fabric of these lonely outposts. Whether you're drawn by morbid curiosity or an insatiable thirst for the supernatural, these lighthouses promise encounters that blur the line between reality and nightmare. In this episode, we'll explore some of Oregon's most infamous haunted lighthouses, places steeped in lore and fear, where the past refuses to stay buried. From Tillamook Rock to Heseta Head, we'll peer into the shadowy depths of these towering sentinels, uncovering tales so haunting they'll leave you questioning what lies beyond the veil. Along the way, we'll hear first-hand accounts from witnesses brave enough to confront the unknown, examine chilling evidence captured by paranormal investigators, and unravel the tragic histories that give rise to these hauntings. So dim the lights, keep your ears sharp, and prepare yourself for a descent into the macabre. As we step into the haunted heart of Oregon's coastline, remember, sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil, and once you cross it, there's no turning back. Tillamook Rock Lighthouse, the ghosts of Terrible Tilly, perched precariously atop a jagged basalt outcrop 1 mile off the coast of Tillamook Head, the Tillamook Rock Lighthouse, affectionately and ominously nicknamed Terrible Tilly, stands as a monument to both human ingenuity and relentless tragedy. Commissioned in 1881, this remote beacon was designed to guide ships through the perilous waters of the Columbia River Bar, often referred to as the graveyard of the Pacific. Its construction alone was a Herculean feat, requiring workers to carve pathways into the unforgiving rock while battling relentless storms and crashing waves. Yet, despite its imposing presence, Terrible Tilly became synonymous not with safety but with sorrow, earning a reputation as one of Oregon's most haunted lighthouses. One of the most enduring legends tied to Tillamook Rock revolves around the tragic death of a worker during its construction. Historical records indicate that John Trewavas, a skilled stonemason tasked with surveying the site, slipped and fell into the churning sea below. His body was never recovered, leaving behind only his tools and a sense of foreboding among the crew. Locals believe Trewavas' spirit remains tethered to the lighthouse, unable, or unwilling, to leave the place where he met his untimely end. Visitors who have ventured close to the structure report hearing faint cries carried by the wind, as though someone is pleading for help from the depths below. Some claim to see a shadowy figure perched atop the rocks, gazing mournfully toward the horizon, a silhouette eerily reminiscent of Trewavas himself. Another prominent figure in the lighthouse's haunted lore is believed to be the ghost of keeper William Lindstrom, who served as head keeper in the early 20th century. According to local lore, Lindstrom grew increasingly despondent due to the isolation and harsh conditions of life on the rock. One fateful night, he disappeared without explanation, leaving behind cryptic journal entries hinting at paranoia and hallucinations. Paranormal investigators exploring the ruins have captured EVP recordings suggesting the presence of a male entity whispering phrases like, "I can't escape," and "They're watching me." Witnesses described seeing a pale figure pacing anxiously near windows, clutching what appears to be a lantern before vanishing without a trace. Adding to the lighthouse's spectral infamy is the legend of the shipwrecked souls said to haunt its waters. Over the decades, countless vessels succumbed to the treacherous currents surrounding Tillamook Rock, their crews swallowed by the unforgiving ocean. Locals claim that on stormy nights, the sound of phantom ships groaning under strain echoes across the waves, accompanied by disembodied screams and cries for salvation. Fishermen passing nearby swear they've seen ghostly figures clinging to debris, their faces gaunt and eyes hollow, as if reliving their final moments over and over again. Some even report feeling sudden drops in temperature as they approach the area, as though the cold hands of the drowned are reaching out to pull them under. Modern-day explorers brave enough to visit Tillamook Rock frequently recount bizarre experiences that defy logical explanation. Lights flicker unpredictably within the abandoned structure, even though it has been decommissioned since 1957. Doors slam shut on their own, and rusted chains rattle violently despite the absence of wind. One particularly unnerving account comes from a photographer who swore he saw a woman in Victorian-era clothing standing at the edge of the rock, her translucent form illuminated by moonlight. When he called out to her, she turned slowly, revealing a face contorted in anguish, before stepping off the cliff and disappearing into the void. Despite, or perhaps because of, its grim history, Tillamook Rock continues to attract curious souls eager to confront its spectral inhabitants. For many, visiting the site serves as both a pilgrimage and a reckoning, an opportunity to honor the lives lost and acknowledge the sacrifices made in pursuit of maritime safety. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its haunting beauty or the weight of its tragic legacy, Tillamook Rock promises an unforgettable experience where the past refuses to fade quietly into oblivion. Yaquina Bay Lighthouse, shadows beneath the beam nestled along the rugged coastline of Newport, Oregon. The Yaquina Bay Lighthouse stands as a proud sentinel, casting its beam across the Pacific Ocean since 1873. With its striking white tower rising 93 feet above sea level, it is one of the tallest lighthouses on the West Coast and a beloved landmark for tourists and locals alike. Yet beneath its picturesque exterior lies a darker narrative, one steeped in mystery, tragedy, and whispers of the supernatural. This iconic beacon, built to guide mariners safely through treacherous waters, has become infamous for the ghostly encounters reported by those brave enough to venture within its walls. One of the most persistent legends tied to Yaquina Bay involves the spirit of a former keeper named Thomas Jefferson Smith. Tasked with maintaining the light during the late 19th century, Smith allegedly grew increasingly isolated and paranoid as he spent long, solitary nights tending to his duties. Historical accounts suggest that he may have suffered from mental illness, exacerbated by the harsh conditions and constant roar of the ocean. On one fateful evening, Smith vanished without explanation, leaving behind only vague notes, scrawled in his logbook about voices calling to him from the darkness. Paranormal investigators exploring the lighthouse have captured EVP recordings containing fragmented phrases such as, "Leave me alone," and "It won't stop," believed to be remnants of Smith's tormented psyche. Witnesses described seeing a gaunt figure pacing restlessly near the spiral staircase, his expression frozen in eternal anguish. Another prominent figure in the lighthouse's haunted lore is believed to be a young girl whose identity remains shrouded in mystery. Local folklore speaks of a child who wandered too close to the cliffs and tragically fell to her death. Her ghost is said to haunt the grounds, appearing as a faint outline of a girl dressed in period attire. Visitors have reported hearing soft giggles echoing through empty hallways, followed by the pitter-patter of tiny footsteps trailing behind them. Others describe seeing toys inexplicably scattered across the grassy areas surrounding the lighthouse, despite no children being present. Some claim to feel an icy draft pass through them as they climb the stairs, as though the little girl is playfully brushing against their legs. Adding to the lighthouse's eerie atmosphere is the recurring appearance of shadowy figures believed to be shipwrecked sailors. The waters surrounding Yaquina Bay are notorious for claiming countless vessels over the years, their crews lost forever to the merciless sea. Locals believe these unfortunate souls remain bound to the lighthouse, seeking solace or vengeance. On stormy nights, visitors report hearing faint cries carried by the wind, as though men are still fighting for survival amidst crashing waves. Others describe seeing ghostly forms materializing near the base of the cliffs, their faces obscured by mist, before dissolving into nothingness. Paranormal investigators exploring Yaquina Bay have documented numerous instances of unexplained phenomena. Thermal cameras reveal significant temperature drops in specific areas, particularly near the lantern room and the base of the tower. Audio recordings capture disembodied voices delivering fragmented sentences like, "Help us," and "We're here," delivered in tones of sheer desperation. Despite, or perhaps because of, Its haunted reputation, Yaquina Head remains a popular destination for tourists and locals alike. Its breathtaking views and rich history make it a favorite spot for photography and leisurely exploration. For those brave enough to venture inside after dark, the promise of encountering Thomas Jefferson Smith, the mysterious little girl, or one of the countless other spirits said to linger adds an element of fascination and trepidation. Yet, as each new visitor steps onto the lighthouse grounds, they must ask themselves, are they prepared to face the echoes of the past, or will they become another chapter in the lighthouse's macabre legacy? Yaquina Head Lighthouse, the Lady in White perched dramatically atop a windswept bluff overlooking the Pacific Ocean. The Yaquina Head Lighthouse in Florence, Oregon, is as enchanting as it is eerie. Built in 1894, this iconic beacon has guided mariners through treacherous waters with its powerful beam visible up to 21 miles offshore. Yet, beneath its charming Victorian architecture and stunning coastal vistas lies a haunting tale that has captivated visitors for generations. Known locally as the home of the Lady in White, Yaquina Head is steeped in spectral lore, making it one of Oregon's most famous haunted lighthouses. The legend of the Lady in White centers around a woman named Rue, believed to be the wife of a former lighthouse keeper during the early 20th century. Historical records suggest that Rue led a quiet yet deeply tragic life, marked by loss and longing. She and her husband moved to the remote outpost seeking solitude, but the isolation proved unbearable. Their young daughter reportedly died under mysterious circumstances, leaving Rue inconsolable. Consumed by grief, she began wandering the grounds at night, clad in a flowing white gown, searching for her child. Locals claim that she eventually took her own life, unable to bear the weight of her sorrow. Her spirit is said to haunt the lighthouse, appearing as a translucent figure drifting silently through the halls. Visitors staying at the adjacent bed and breakfast, now converted from the original keeper's quarters, frequently recount encounters with Rue's restless spirit. Many describe hearing faint sobbing emanating from empty rooms, accompanied by the scent of lavender lingering in the air. Guests have reported waking up to find their bedsheets tangled and possibly tight around their limbs, as if restrained by invisible hands. Others claim to see a pale woman gazing wistfully out of upstairs windows, her expression frozen in eternal anguish, before vanishing without explanation. Adding to the lighthouse's haunted allure is the recurring appearance of shadowy figures believed to be former keepers or shipwrecked sailors. Paranormal investigators exploring the site have captured compelling evidence of supernatural activity. Thermal imaging cameras reveal cold spots concentrated near the spiral staircase and the lantern room, where many of the tragedies unfolded. Audio recordings pick up fragmented phrases like, "She's here," and "Don't let her go," delivered in tones of sheer desperation. One particularly unsettling discovery came when a team member set up motion-activated cameras overnight, capturing footage of a translucent figure standing motionless at the midpoint of the staircase before vanishing without explanation. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, Yaquina Head remains a popular destination for tourists and locals alike. Its picturesque setting and rich history make it a favorite spot for photography and leisurely exploration. For those brave enough to venture inside after dark, the promise of encountering Rue or one of the countless other spirits said to linger adds an element of fascination and trepidation. Yet, as each new visitor steps onto the lighthouse grounds, they must ask themselves, are they prepared to face the echoes of the past, or will they become another chapter in the lighthouse's macabre legacy? Patterns across Oregon's haunted lighthouses, themes of isolation and losses. We traverse the haunted landscapes of Oregon's coastline, from the jagged cliffs of Tillamook Rock to the serene bluffs of Yaquina Head. Striking similarities emerge that transcend individual locations and histories. These patterns are not merely coincidental but reflect universal themes of human emotion, unresolved trauma, and the enduring power of memory. From the wailing wards of hospitals to the shadowed basements of monuments, these sites share a commonality that binds them together in a spectral sisterhood of sorrow and suspense. One recurring motif is the concept of unfinished business. Whether it's the victims of shipwrecks or the betrayed trust of lighthouse keepers subjected to inhumane isolation, these spirits seem tethered to the earthly realm by grievances left unaddressed. Their presence manifests as restless energy, often communicated through auditory phenomena, cries, whispers, or disembodied voices that serve as pleas for acknowledgement or closure. This theme resonates across cultures and belief systems, reflecting humanity's innate need to resolve conflict and seek peace, even in death. Another shared characteristic is the role of architecture in amplifying paranormal activity. Historic buildings, with their labyrinthine corridors, thick walls, and hidden alcoves, create environments conducive to isolating individuals and heightening fear. These structural elements act as metaphors for the psychological barriers erected by those who suffered within their confines, trapping emotions such as anger, despair, and regret. It's no coincidence that many reported hauntings occur in spaces imbued with emotional significance: operating rooms where surgeries went awry, basements where bodies were stored, or wards where patients met tragic ends. Lighting and sensory manipulation also feature prominently in these narratives. Flickering lights, sudden temperature drops, and inexplicable odors are staples of ghostly encounters, designed to disorient and unsettle. Such phenomena strip away the comfort of familiarity, forcing guests to confront the unknown. The use of mirrors, a recurring element in stories from various haunted hospitals, adds another layer of psychological tension, as reflections distort perception and blur the boundary between self and other. This interplay of light and shadow becomes a tool wielded by unseen forces, creating moments of visceral terror that linger long after the initial shock subsides. Finally, the prevalence of historical context cannot be overstated. Each location's haunting is deeply rooted in its unique past, shaped by the socio-cultural milieu of its time. The brutal medical practices embedded in the DNA of older establishments contrast sharply with the glamorous yet tragic lives immortalized in urban legends. Yet both narratives tap into broader archetypes of ambition, betrayal, and mortality, ensuring their resonance with audiences regardless of personal experience. By drawing on these universal motifs, these haunted places transform from mere buildings into living repositories of collective memory, inviting us to peer into the abyss of our shared humanity. Thus, while each establishment boasts its own distinct flavor of fright, the underlying threads connecting them reveal a tapestry rich with meaning. These patterns remind us that the supernatural is not so much about the entities themselves but the stories they tell, the echoes of lives interrupted, passions extinguished, and truths obscured. As we continue to explore these haunted locales, we find ourselves grappling not only with the specters of the past but with the timeless questions they raise about life, death, and everything in between. The psychology of fear. Why haunted lighthouses captivate us? What is it about haunted lighthouses that grips our imaginations so profoundly? Beyond the creaking floorboards and flickering lights lies a deeper allure, one rooted in the psychology of fear and the human fascination with the unknown. These sites, by their very nature, are places of vulnerability. They are where we confront our mortality, stripped of autonomy and control, relying entirely on the expertise of others to heal us, or where justice was denied, leaving wounds that refuse to heal. When these spaces become haunted, they amplify our primal fears, transforming familiar settings into arenas of existential dread. The combination of historical context, architectural design, and the lingering presence of past suffering creates a perfect storm of terror that resonates deeply within us. At the core of this captivation is the concept of liminality, the state of being on the threshold between two worlds. Haunted lighthouses exist in this liminal space, bridging life and death, health and illness, hope and despair. This inherent duality makes them fertile ground for supernatural narratives. Ghosts, as manifestations of unresolved trauma or unfinished business, embody the tension of being caught between states. They serve as reminders that the boundaries we construct, between life and afterlife, sanity and madness, are far more permeable than we'd like to believe. For many, visiting a haunted site feels like stepping into a twilight zone where the rules of reality no longer apply, igniting both curiosity and unease. Architecturally, haunted lighthouses contribute to this atmosphere of dread through their design. Long, sterile hallways lined with identical doors create a sense of disorientation, while poor lighting and echoing acoustics heighten sensory awareness. These features mimic the psychological effects of anxiety and claustrophobia, making even mundane sounds, a distant cough, the hum of fluorescent lights, feel ominous. The labyrinthine layouts of older structures, with their hidden wings and underground tunnels, evoke feelings of entrapment and uncertainty. Cultural influences also play a significant role in shaping our fascination with haunted lighthouses. Media representations, from films like The Shining to television series such as American Horror Story, have cemented the trope of the haunted asylum, courthouse, or battlefield as a locus of horror. These portrayals often blend historical truths with fictional embellishments, creating a mythology that blurs fact and fiction. Audiences are drawn to these stories because they reflect societal anxieties about institutional power, systemic injustice, and the fragility of the human mind. Haunted lighthouses become microcosms of larger fears: the loss of agency, the misuse of authority, and the haunting specter of mistakes made in the name of progress. Moreover, haunted lighthouses appeal to our desire for catharsis. Engaging with these tales allows us to process our own fears about mortality, injustice, and the flaws inherent in systems meant to protect us. By confronting ghostly apparitions and unexplained phenomena, we externalize internal anxieties, transforming abstract fears into tangible adversaries. This vicarious experience provides a safe outlet for exploring the darker aspects of human existence, offering both thrill and relief. It's no wonder that ghost tours and paranormal investigations of haunted places attract participants eager to test their courage against the unknown. Ultimately, the enduring allure of haunted lighthouses lies in their ability to mirror our deepest fears while challenging our understanding of reality. They remind us that the past is never truly buried, that pain and injustice leave indelible marks on both people and places. As we walk their haunted halls, we are forced to confront not only the spirits said to inhabit them but also the ghosts within ourselves, the regrets, doubts, and unanswered questions that linger long after the wounds have healed. In doing so, we find a strange comfort in knowing that we are not alone in our fears, that others have walked these same paths and emerged, shaken but alive, to tell their stories. As we bring this chilling journey through Oregon's most haunted lighthouses to a close, one thing becomes abundantly clear: the spirits of the past refuse to be silenced. Each creaking beam, each whispered name, and each fleeting shadow serves as a testament to lives lived, lost, and lingering in the spaces we dare to call haunted. These stories are more than mere campfire tales. They are fragments of history, stitched together by human emotion, tragedy, and the relentless passage of time. They remind us that the line between the living and the dead is far thinner than we might believe, and that sometimes the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil. But why stop here? If these accounts have stirred something within you, a spark of curiosity, a shiver of excitement, I urge you to take the next step. Visit one of Oregon's haunted lighthouses yourself. Walk the same halls where spirits are said to roam, stand in the rooms where history's echoes reverberate, and let the unknown brush against your senses. Whether you're a skeptic seeking proof or a believer eager to commune with the other side, these forsaken institutions offer an unparalleled opportunity to confront the mysteries that lie just beyond comprehension. There's nothing quite like experiencing the weight of decades-old despair firsthand, feeling the chill of a presence that defies explanation, or hearing the faint strains of voices from another time. And when you return, share your story. Did you feel the icy touch of a ghostly hand? Hear the faint tap of footsteps in an empty corridor? Or perhaps nothing happened at all. But isn't that silence just as intriguing? Your experiences add to the rich tapestry of lore surrounding these haunted places, ensuring their legacies endure for generations to come. Share your findings with fellow enthusiasts, document your journey, and keep the conversation alive. After all, every whisper contributes to the symphony of the supernatural. Until then, keep your lanterns lit and your courage steady. The spirits are waiting.